I rise today in support of my amendment to reduce the EPA's categorical grant programs budget by just over $1 billion, consistent with President Trump's fiscal year 2027 President's budget request, and to bring the Interior and Environment Appropriations Act to slightly below fiscal year 2026 enacted levels. Mr. Chairman, as our national debt approaches $40 trillion, Washington's addiction to spending is no longer merely irresponsible, it is a threat to our national security and our future generations. So this spending addiction must end. Consider where we stand. The federal government expects $5.6 trillion in revenue this year, but plans to spend $7.4 trillion. That is a $1.8 trillion deficit. More than $1 trillion will go solely to interest payments. That's interest payments, $1 trillion. Funding no program, building no road, defending no soldier, no household, no business, no institution, and no government could survive this kind of math indefinitely. And yet the spending level in the bill before us today would spend more, spending above fiscal year 2026 enacted levels. President Trump's fiscal year 27 budget charts a very different course, eliminating duplicative programs, cutting waste, fraud, and abuse, and refocusing federal dollars on what actually serves American taxpayers, protects our national security, and keeps American businesses competitive. The President proposed an approximately 91% reduction in the EPA's categorical grant programs, from over $1.1 billion to just over $100 million. The Clean Air Act, the Clean Water Act, and other major environmental statutes that these grants support have been on the books for multiple decades, and many states have enacted their own laws to do these exact same things. States and local governments are more than capable of funding their own programs in compliance with these laws that they passed. So these grants have become a crutch for states at the expense of American taxpayers, many of whom receive no benefit from them whatsoever. The President's budget eliminates the bloated, federally subsidized bureaucracy that states should have long since stood up on their own. For example, the budget also zeroes out funding for race-based so-called environmental justice teams doing product certifications in Nevada, a $580,000 expenditure in taxpayer money that had no business going to politically motivated grant programs in the first place. Merit and environmental results should drive federal funding decisions, not political agendas. My amendment would bring the EPA's categorical grant funding in line with the President's budget request, returning it to a level that maintains essential support for key programs while ending the federal handouts to the states that have had decades to replace it with their own resources. The federal government barrels toward a $40 trillion debt. Our committee needs to be leading the way with fiscal restraint. I urge my colleagues to support this amendment. I thank you, and I yield back.